gosh, hello. It has been a hot minute. It's been a hot minute since I did a One Piece video. It's been a bit mental the last few weeks, but I just said to myself, at least try and start this vlog. So yeah, I apologize for the state that I'm in, but from what I remember last time, I got up to the Whiskey Peak arc, and the next arc is called the Little Garden arc, and I believe that's volumes 13 to 15. So that's 3 volumes, that's 13 to 15. So that's gonna be a big read. But I have volume 13 here, and what do you say we go ahead and start it? Okay, so there are 3 chapters left in volume 13, and obviously that's the first 3 chapters of the first arc. So that's what I'm going to end up reading tonight. So I've just finished. Chapter just finished. That's really helpful. Okay. Yeah, right. So I just finished chapter 115, and so we've got the basic premise and setup. So obviously they've sailed into this line, this kind of current, and they've ended up on this island, it's the second island of the Grand Line, and everyone's excited as they see like this giant dolphin that comes over them. They're like, oh, that's a massive creature. And then as they get further into the island, they start seeing all these weird creatures and things, and they're like, oh, let's go explore it. So Luffy and Miss Wednesday, who's the princess, I can't remember the princess's like full name, end up going exploring, and they come across some dinosaurs, because according to Nami, because she talks about the book as a prehistoric island, like according to the princess, every island on the Grand Line has its own culture and history behind it, and then some islands, because of the climate, this island hasn't come out of the dinosaur ages. Also, what's also going on in this chapter is Sanji and Zoro have challenged each other to find some food. So the only people left on the ship are Usopp and Nami, and then Nami says to Usopp that she thinks she's read about this island because it's called Little Garden, and then the chapter ends with her reading that it's about the land of giants. So are we gonna have giants like we've seen so are we gonna see some giants in the next few chapters? So we've had dinosaurs, like this Luffy's climbing this dinosaur, so I'm hoping they don't get squished, but they're gonna get in trouble knowing that they've all wandered off when they shouldn't really have gone on this island. So not a lot to say about that first chapter. It's just setting up the arc. I'm not really excited about this arc as much as I have been for the other ones, because I feel it just seems a bit of a mixture of things, but we'll see how it goes. I just don't think this is turning out to be an arc that I'm going to enjoy, because it just seems a bit for me, but we'll see how it goes, eh? So I've just finished that chapter. So we've been introduced to 2 giants who are called Droggy and Broggy, or something like that from what I can remember, and they have been fighting for over 100 years for like an honor, and they don't remember why they've been fighting. They came from an island on the Grand Line, like that's where giants are from, and like their god is called Elfpath. So they're fighting for honor. So like all the crew are asking, because certain members of the crew meet each one, and like they kill the dinosaurs for meat and stuff, but talk to them about why they're fighting, and they say that giants have like a longer lifespan than humans, and like they're excited to meet humans. So I'm wondering, so obviously they've met humans before, even though there's a pile of human bones, so that concerns me a little bit, but that could be anything, couldn't be from the giant. But considering they're fighting and they don't know what they're fighting for, I'm wondering if this arc is going to be about finding out what they're fighting for, even though it's an honor that they've just forgotten. For some reason, I don't know why, I think Giant Story is reminding me of the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland. There's a story that, I can't remember the name of the giant. There was a fight between a giant in Scotland and then Northern Ireland, and then they made a path, which is why it's called the Giant's Causeway. I'll put a photo in. It's like this unique formation of stones, and for some reason that's all I can think of when I'm reading about this, because I believe in that myth they are fighting. I remember learning about it when I went, but yeah, that's what that's reminding me of. Yeah, like I thought, I'm not necessarily enjoying this arc as much as other ones. I'm just finding it a little bit boring, to be honest. It just seems a bit like not an important lesson, or just seems a bit random. But I think the plan for tonight is to read one more chapter, and then that is volume 13 done, and then we're going to move on to volume 14. So I will see you when I finish this next volume. So that is volume 13 complete. So I found out the giants are fighting over an eternal pose which is set to Alpath, their homeland. And because they've set this island, it takes a year for the log post to reset. He and the princess do ask the giant like how long it takes, and he states that it takes a year, and that the humans don't normally survive that long, which is why there's loads of human skulls. So it doesn't look very good for them. So then we also seem to have a bit of character development for Usopp, who does state that he sees these giants as like warriors, sea warriors, so warriors of honor, and that he wants to go to their island one day, so that's going to be his goal. So I think we'll see that in the future. He's going to like have some sort of honor, which is like a very Japanese thing, which is, I can see which has been put in there. Then so the giants then share some ale that was on cruise ship, and it makes the giant explode. So one of the giants thinks that Luffy did it, so they end up fighting, so that doesn't look good. So Luffy's gonna end up taking on a giant. And also forgot to mention, at the beginning of the chapter, like Baroque Works, we're introduced to this island called Crocor Island, and we're introduced to a character called Mr. 3, who is very obvious because he's got a 3 in his hair, and some other characters called Miss Golden Week, so they'll soon know the price to define the organisation. So I'm wondering if that's to do with the exploding barrel, but I think they might show up later on, and they might be a bit of an adversary for the whole of the Straw Hats crew. But yeah, that's volume 13 done, and still on the yeah, still not really enjoying this arc very much. It seems a bit sluggish, but we'll get through. So believe it or not, it's actually been a week since that last clip that you just saw, and I haven't even touched volume 14 as of yet. I was waiting for volume 15 to get here, but I have just also not had time. Also, one of these days I will not vlog in my pyjamas, but here we are. So yeah, considering it's been a week, I think it's time that I actually, you know, delve out into chapter 118. So I will see you when I finish this chapter. Okay, so that chapter was a lot of information dumping and finding out what is actually happening. We found out that why one of the giants exploded. It's because of the Baroque Works agents. They put an explosive in the ale because they had a fair chance that so all of them are together on the island. They're all scheming because they're after the reward for the giants, because they used to be part of this scary crew of pirates 100 years ago, because they found a wanted poster that's over 100 years old. I'm surprised that poster hasn't just disintegrated, because Izzy just kept it. How is it? Because a poster's 100 years old. If it's not kept in good condition, would probably disintegrate. But yeah, and they've gone the call to battle. I don't think the giant's dead-ish, because Luffy had to calm him down with like the Gungan rocket. I don't think he's dead. Yeah, he's not happy. He's not dead, he's just been injured, so I think they're just trying to bring him down so they can get the rewards, because they have a long life. And they're trying to get them to stop fighting, but they can't because of the volcano, so they've just been stuck on this island forever. Yeah, my enthusiasm with this arc, I'm finding it like, I guess. It's just not really finding it. I think that's probably why I've struggled the last week as well. Like, I haven't wanted to really like delve into it, but we've got to just keep going and see how this arc goes. It's not my favourite personally, but we'll just see where it goes. So I'm thinking tonight, if I read up to chapter 122 and then finish volume 14 tomorrow, and then I can finish volume 15 on Saturday, and that should be the next arc done. Also, I am still planning to do a live action review. I just haven't had time. I don't know if it's too late to do one, but I'm going to do it anyway. But I need to like write it and just accumulate my thoughts around it, so this video got finished before I do that. But that I'm still doing it. It's just finding time to do it. My life is busy. But yes, so okay, so those last two chapters were pretty intense. So the Straw Hat Pirates are being targeted, and Broggy, or Druggy, I can't remember which one, brought down the other one, and he's been injured. We've actually discovered the power of one of the Baroque Works members. He can make like his body is made out of wax, which is a bit mental. All the stage has been set for this battle to climax, essentially, because Luffy's angry and he's gonna go and try and save this other giant because the other one is dead. Although I don't know, he did fall down, but it doesn't seem like he's dead because he's been battling so long. He's been helped. But yeah, there's not a lot to say about this arc. I'm just finding it a bit to be honest. I think that's probably why I'm not like gushing over it like I normally would be. Yeah, it's just one of those arcs where it's like, oh, this is happening, oh, this is happening, oh, this is happening. So I have got 2 more chapters left to read, and that will be the end for tonight. So I will see you when I finish chapter 122. Well, it did look like there was going to be dire consequences in that chapter, because like Luffy and everybody was pretty much defeated. Nami and Zoro and the princess had been captured and were being changed into wax figures by the number 3 guy, and Luffy comes back to save the day after Zoro just been trying to motivate the giant to like cut your hands off to fight with his fighting spirit. But yeah, not a lot to say. Luffy's just come to the rescue because he's awakened, and he's gonna fight the Mr. 3 in the next few chapters. So at least I've made some progress with volume 14, and I will finish this tomorrow, so I will see you then. So I am here again in my pajamas. It seems to be the theme this week, but I have just finished chapter 123 and 124, and a lot's happening right now. Basically, Luffy was losing the fight against the candle guy because this Miss Golden Week has got these special powers where she can hypnotize people, and yeah, that isn't helping. Usopp comes to the rescue because he's riding on the dock, and he helps to free Luffy, like destroying his ship from the hypnotism by throwing bombs at him. It isn't looking good for everyone, but yeah, it wasn't looking good for everyone, but Luffy's gonna break them out. I'm still just on the fence with this arc. I'm still just like, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. Okay, there's a little bit of character development with Usopp where he's becoming braver, but yeah, so that's all I've got to say on that. So right, so that is volume 14 finished at last. You know, out of all this chaos, I completely forgot that Sanji was not involved in the fight. So it does go back to him where he's just waiting on the ship, and he's found one of the houses, and he ends up on the telephone because they believe the candle guy is still there. So he said Mr. Zero in the report, so we'll see how that goes in the next volume. But yeah, they did manage to beat the villains. Luffy brought the guy down, but I am more interested in the development of where Sanji is at the moment. And also, is the giant just gonna like lie on the floor forever? I'm interested to know how the arc is gonna wrap up. But yeah, this hasn't been a particular favourite arc of mine. So hello, it is now Saturday night. I am actually dressed. So we have got volume 5 to finish. I was going to do it this afternoon, but I have been busy all day working on something. So my goal is I'm just going to read straight through all the chapters, and then I will wrap up my thoughts when I get there. So I will see you probably in about 20 minutes or so when I've got through the chapters. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so that ends this arc, and yeah, it hasn't been one of my particular favourite arcs, to be honest. It's just been a bit of a slog to get through. It did wrap up nicely at the end, so both of the giants aren't dead, they beat the crew. Sanji is talking obviously to Mr. Crocodile, and for some reason the fact that Mr. Crocodile doesn't recognise number 3's voice, like Sanji's voice should sound different, but he ends up with the eternal pose. So it's just a coincidence he happened to wander in there. It just seemed like a very good coincidence that he just managed to get it. But now they're heading towards Alabasta, and the giants help them. But the giants help them get through, cutting to the island dweller, and Luffy trusts his instinct, so he's a good guy. But at the end, Nami is just falling ill out of seemingly nowhere. I mean, after everything that's happened, no wonder. But I'm now curious about what the heck's happened to Nami and like the Alabasta. I think I'm more interested in that because the princess has got a heavy burden to carry, and she's growing on me a little bit. She's got this duty to her people that she needs to protect. But yeah, this hasn't been one of my favourite arcs. It's been it's been not great, not brilliant, but so yeah, it's one of them. But that is it, and I will hopefully be starting the next arc very soon, so I will see you then. If you've got any thoughts or anything else you want to add, comment down below, but I will see you next time. Bye.